Hello guys. So in one of my last videos, I briefly mentioned the fact that I am an egg donor. Honestly, that has been such a big part of my life the last 2 years. So I thought I would just make a video kind of talking about my experience and how I got started with it and what it means to me. And then if anyone has any questions, I would love to make a follow-up video answering all the questions. Okay, let's start from the very beginning. So before I even heard about egg donation or even knew what that was, I was always kind of interested in being a surrogate, but then I found out that you had to have had a kid or been pregnant before and had a child to be able to be a surrogate, and I do not have any children, so I knew that was kind of out the door. But I was still always kind of interested in that type of thing because personally I've known a lot of people in my life, a lot of women who just want to be a mother so bad and for whatever reason cannot, they can't get pregnant or they're in a same-sex marriage or relationship. There's just so many reasons why some people aren't able to have children. So about 2 years ago, I was actually just scrolling on TikTok and I came across a video of a girl talking about egg donation, and honestly at first I was never even heard of that before, or I didn't know anything about it. So I kind of went down a rabbit hole and realized that it was something I was kind of interested in because I always obviously wanted to be a surrogate but couldn't do that. So honestly, in my eyes, this was the second or the next best thing. So yeah, I went down a rabbit hole. I actually found allkind.inc TikTok and saw some girls talking about their experience and what it is to be an egg donor, and I was I think I'd be interested in that. So I did a bunch of research and I ended up filling out an application with allkind, and I got accepted and I got a call, and they kind of gave me a brief rundown on what it is to be an egg donor and what the process is like. So after I had my initial call of them explaining to me what egg donation is, they matched me up with a company, and for my first donation I did a frozen cycle, which means I donated my eggs to a frozen egg bank. So then families who are looking for an egg donor can search through all these different profiles of donors and pick who they want and then get those eggs from the bank. So originally I wasn't working directly with the family. I was just working through this agency. The agency was great. They gave me all of the information that I needed, and to start off, I had to go through a bunch of testing to even see if this was something my body was able to do, to make sure I didn't have any genetic disorders or diseases or anything like that I didn't know about. I had to do a psychological evaluation with a doctor to make sure I was fit to do it. And then I did have to do a lot of blood work and testing, which honestly, that was one of the things that I was most nervous about because I do not love to give blood at all. But honestly, it was totally fine. I just had to go to a place local to me and they took all the blood and everything was fine. So I passed all the testing. And then once everything came back, I was sent my injections. So if you don't already know, when you are an egg donor, before you go through the actual donation process of your egg retrieval, you do have to give yourself shots in the stomach. And that was the second thing that I was most nervous about because I'm not it's not that I'm scared of needles, but something about the thought of doing it myself, I was oh my God, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to actually poke myself, and I live by myself. I don't have anyone that could do it for me. So I was really nervous about that. But the first time that I ended up doing my injections, hi, come here. Of course, we have a smoochy break. So when I went to start my injections, honestly, the first night ow! Okay, she did not want to be picked up. Okay, go. So the first night I had to start my injections, I was home alone and I tried to do it myself, and honestly, I could not do it. I was giving myself a panic attack just because it was my brain wouldn't let me do it. Every time I would try to stick it in my stomach, it I could not do it. So I ended up calling my mom and dad and I was freaking out, and they were hyping me up, telling me you got this, just one poke and you'll be fine, you got it. And after I don't know, 30 minutes probably, I ended up doing it and it was totally fine. I was nervous for nothing. So if you're watching this and you're interested in doing an egg donation, or you're already going through the process and haven't started your injections, I'm here to tell you, once you do it the first time, it is so easy. The needle is so thin, and after the first time it was just like nothing to me. Like I could do it in 30 seconds, like clean it off, pinch the skin, stab myself, clean it off, done. It was so easy. So then once you start your injections, the side effects for everyone are different. However, my side effects were like nothing. Honestly, the only side effect from my injections that I experienced, and by the way, I've done this twice. So I just had my second cycle this last October. So I have been through this twice, and both times the side effects from my injections honestly were just like, I just had fatigue pretty much. Like I was just really tired all the time. But I know some people do get crampy and some people do have other side effects. Personally, I did not. I was just really tired. Like during the day it would hit like noon or like 3 p.m. and like I felt like if I closed my eyes, I could have fallen asleep like anywhere, anytime. So that was pretty much all I felt. And then I was on the injections for a week. And then the company that I got matched up with was actually in Orlando, Florida, which is the really cool thing about egg donation, especially if you go through Allkind. You get to travel to wherever the clinic is, all expenses paid for. You get one person to come with you. All of their expenses are paid for, your flight, your hotel, your food every day, Ubers, rental car, whatever you need, it's paid for, which is amazing. So my first donation, I was on the injections for a week and then flew to Orlando, Florida, and then was on the injections for about another week, and then I had my retrieval there. And I had my mom come with me. We had such a great time. And you pretty much just have like checkup appointments every day where you'll do blood work, they'll do an ultrasound, make sure the injections are doing what they're supposed to do, make sure your body's doing okay, and then they figure out when you're ready for your retrieval. So for the actual retrieval part, honestly, that is like a piece of cake too. So you go to the clinic. I went super early in the morning, I think like 6:45, and they put you under mild anesthesia and wheel you into the room, and the procedure literally takes like 15 to 20 minutes max. And then immediately after, I just had like a little bit of cramping almost, and then I had cramping for a couple days following, but it was nothing like unbearable. It honestly just felt like period cramps, and like if you're a girl, you understand that period cramps can be horrible. So honestly, I've had period cramps worse than the cramps that I felt after my first retrieval. It was totally fine. Again, everyone's experience is totally different, but personally, I had a great experience and my retrieval was a piece of cake. So then the day after my retrieval, we flew home, and the first time they did retrieve 35 eggs. And then my second retrieval that I just had in October, I pretty much had to go through the same process, but I was matched up with a different company this time, and I actually went to Los Angeles, California for that one, which was so much fun. And my retrieval there, they got 38 eggs, which honestly is a lot of eggs. I don't know exactly what the average number is that they get from retrievals. I want to say it's like 19 to like 35. I think that's like a average range, but I do know that 35 is like on the high end, and the first time they got 35, this last time they got 38, which is amazing. And a lot of people like hear about egg donation and don't understand like how women's bodies work, and don't know a lot about your eggs and stuff like that. Women are actually born with millions of eggs. You're born with so many eggs. You don't grow more eggs. You don't get more eggs. You are born with so many eggs, and every month when you have your period, you are pretty much like shedding those eggs every month when you have your periods. So people are like, oh my God, they're taking your eggs. Like now, like, are you not going to be able to have kids? No, that is not true. I can absolutely have kids if I wanted to, because I would be getting rid of those eggs every month anyways from my period. So when you donate your eggs, you're pretty much just giving those eggs to people who need them. So yes, you can still have kids. No, it does not affect your fertility. You can do it up to 6 times. I'm about to do it a 3rd time, and I would still be able to have kids after that if I wanted to. So then after you donate your eggs, like I said, they go to like a frozen egg bank. So actually, a couple months after my first egg retrieval, I got an email from the company that I went through, and a same-sex male couple had picked my eggs, or they had picked my profile, and they were interested in using me as an egg donor. And so as an egg donor, you get to like accept or deny a couple. So you do get like a really big say in the whole entire process. So they sent me the couple's profile and I looked through it, and they asked if they could meet me over a Zoom call. And at first I was like, not skeptical, but I was just like a little bit nervous because I'm like, oh my God, this is like such a big deal. I didn't know if I really wanted to like not necessarily be involved, but I didn't know if I wanted to meet them. I didn't know if I wanted to be a part of that. But ultimately, after I saw their profile, they looked so sweet, and I was like, you know what, this is like such a big deal to them. So I decided to meet them over a Zoom call. So we did that, and we talked for like an hour. They are the sweetest humans ever, and we just got along so good. We really clicked. We were vibing. So then they ultimately decided that they did want to use me as their egg donor. So they got the batch of my eggs, and currently they are on the waiting list for a surrogate. So I have yet to hear an update about them, but I wish them the best. And we did decide that whenever they find a surrogate, whenever they get pregnant, whenever they have the baby, like I do want to see all the things. I want to see pictures. I want to be updated on all the things. So that should be coming sometime soon. And then from my egg retrieval for my last one in October, I haven't heard anything back because it was pretty recent, but no one has picked my profile yet, so they're still in the bank. I cannot wait for another couple to pick my profile, because honestly, after the first couple picked my eggs, it honestly was, I literally, you guys, I cried the whole entire day when I got the email that they wanted to have me as their egg donor, and after I saw their profile, because, and it was tears of joy. I was so excited. It literally makes me want to cry talking about it, because it was the most rewarding thing I have ever gone through in my whole entire life. Like, seeing pictures of them and seeing their profile and see and hear them talk about how much they wanted to have kids and how thankful they were that I was an egg donor, that there are other egg donors, that people give this gift of life and children to other people that cannot do it themselves. Like, it was the most rewarding thing ever in my life, and I literally sobbed for 24 hours straight, and I was just so excited. And then I cried on the phone when I met them. I cried after when I was telling my family about it. Like, it really is the most rewarding thing ever. So I know a lot of people have like mixed opinions on being an egg donor, because I've had so many people that I tell about it, and because I'm very open about it, and I've had so many people be like, well, do you understand that like you're gonna have kids out there that like you don't know, or like how do you feel about that? There's just so many things that people say, and honestly, it does not bother me. It might bother other donors or other people, but it does not bother me, because I know that I am giving such an amazing gift to someone else. And yes, there are gonna be kids out there that are mine but aren't really mine. Personally, I'm totally okay with that, because I know why I did it. I know what I got myself into. I know the reasons why I did it, and I know that I'm helping someone else out. So I know there are a lot of people who it's just not for them, and that's totally fine. But personally, I would do it a million times over again. It was such a great experience. And on top of all of that, you do get compensated for being an egg donor. So obviously that is a plus, but you have to be in it for the right reasons. Like, sometimes I tell people that like, oh, like you make $10,000 from being an egg donor, and they're like, oh my God, well, I want to be an egg donor too, and I want to make $10,000. And a lot of people are just in it for the money, and I would say to absolutely not do that, because it really is such a big deal as the egg donor, but it's also such a big deal to the people you're giving your eggs to. Like, you're giving another family life. You are literally helping someone start or keep their family going. So it is such a big deal, and if you're only doing it for the money, I feel like it just like defeats the purpose. Like, your heart really has to be in it, and I knew that my heart would be in it, but I didn't realize how much my heart would be in it until I did it the first time, and until I matched with that couple and I met them. Like, my heart was so full after, and I know that I did it for the right reasons. It really was just like the most rewarding thing I've ever done in my life. So yeah, that is kind of like a brief rundown on my egg donation journey. I would love to make more follow-up videos after this. So if you have questions about being an egg donor, I would love to do like a frequently asked questions type of vibe video. I can definitely go more into depth about the process, my trips that I took, all the things. I love talking about this. It seriously is like one of my most favorite personality traits ever because I am really proud of what I did and I love to tell other people about it. So yeah, let us know in the comments what questions you have, what more you want to hear or see about being an egg donor, because I would absolutely love to share more. So yeah, thank you guys so much for sitting and listening to me yap about being an egg donor. I could sit and yap all day about it. So I will definitely be making a follow-up video if anyone has any questions. So thank you guys for watching, and I will see you in the next video.